grandfather moved to the United States from Canada. He was in World War I. They needed French-speaking soldiers to go over there the first time before you all had to go over there the second time. They had 9 children. I remember growing up hearing stories in New Village about the Dosties and the Mitchells. They both had baseball teams in New Village. Of the 9, they had three daughters. My Aunt Pauline, who married Ray Morin, and they lived in Epping. My Aunt Elma, who married Richard Arts, and they lived in Durham. And my Aunt Mary Ellen, who married Bill Robinson, and they lived here in Newmarket. Of the 6 boys, John went in the Navy in 1942, and he served for 8 years. He lived out in Colorado for a while, but eventually moved back here and lived on Bay Road. They had 3 children, Jody, Scott, and John. My Uncle Oliver went in the Navy in 1943, and he stayed in the Navy for a while, returned back to Newmarket, and then decided to enlist in the United States Air Force. While on leave and headed home on a motorcycle, he was killed in 1951. My Uncle Ray went in the Navy in 1985, and he later worked at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard until he retired, and he spent most of his years living in Stratham. My Uncle Francis, he went in the Navy also in 1945, and he made the Navy his career. He stayed in the Navy for 23 years. I remember he always had a lot of the Navy tattoos all over his forearms. My Uncle Joe, he was a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne and served in Korea. He joined in 1951, and I remember he was pretty notorious around town. I think he had to leave. But he lives in Texas still. And my father, he was the oldest. And he moved here in 1939. He graduated from Newmarket High School in 1941. He enlisted in the Army Air Corps in 1942, and he ended up being a flight engineer on a B-17. He was stationed in Thurleigh, England, and on his 4th mission, he was shot down on June 13th, 1943, and he was captured by the Germans and taken prisoner. He was a prisoner in Moosburg, Stalag 7A, and eventually moved to Stalag 17B, where he stayed for 18 months. He was a POW for a total of 23 months until he was liberated on May 3rd, 1945. My father and George Pelletier were the only 2 POWs from Newmarket. Thank you.